Freedom is not found in doing everything you want. It is born in the discipline to master yourself daily. A man without discipline is not free. He is chained to impulses, desires, and weakness disguised as liberty. Discipline is the key that unlocks freedom's gates, while excuses build invisible prisons around your soul. Freedom is not indulgence. It is the strength to command your will. When comfort begs you to surrender, the undisciplined man serves comfort as his master, while the disciplined man commands his own destiny. Every disciplined choice is a declaration of freedom, proof that you control your path and not your fears. Comfort whispers lies of freedom, but its trap enslaves. Discipline cuts those chains and makes you free. Freedom without discipline collapses into chaos. Only discipline shapes order that lasts for eternity. A man who obeys his weakness is a prisoner. A man who masters it through discipline is truly free. The world does not respect those who chase ease. It respects warriors who win freedom through pain. Discipline is not punishment. It is the crown of mastery placed upon men who conquer themselves. Excuses steal freedom slowly, but discipline resurrects it in every act of courage and sacrifice. The man who chooses discipline chooses freedom. Even when pain screams and fear tries to rule, freedom is not granted by chance. It is seized by warriors who bleed daily in silent discipline. Every scar of discipline is proof of freedom won, chains broken, and victories carved in silence. To live without discipline is to live enslaved. To live with it is to taste true freedom forever. The path of freedom is narrow and brutal, walked only by those who embrace discipline as a law. Discipline is the language of kings and warriors. It is the passport to a life of true liberty. Comfort dies where discipline rises, and in its death freedom is reborn, radiant and unstoppable. Remember, discipline is not the enemy of freedom. Discipline is freedom itself, eternal and pure. The silent battle begins when the alarm breaks the night, and your weakness begs louder than your will. No one sees the war you fight at dawn, but those unseen victories decide if you live free or enslaved. Excuses whisper comfort, but discipline commands sacrifice, and freedom is its eternal reward. The hardest fight is not against the world, but against the excuses and fears inside your soul. In silence, discipline is tested. No applause, no audience, only you versus the weight of yourself. Freedom is not granted by noise. It is earned in the quiet wars you win when no one is watching. Excuses scream louder in solitude, but discipline whispers steady commands that ignite fire. Every time you defeat hesitation alone, you forge freedom in secret and wear its crown in public. The undisciplined believe freedom is ease. The disciplined know freedom is born in silent war. Respect is not gained through waiting. It is won by rising early and crushing excuses in the dark. The man who wins the silent battle owns himself, and the man who owns himself is forever free. Remember, discipline in silence is the fire that breaks chains and gives birth to true freedom. Pain is not punishment. It is the teacher that strips away weakness and delivers the gift of strength. Without pain, there is no growth. And without growth, there can be no freedom worth fighting for. Pain burns illusions, leaving only truth. Freedom is carved through sacrifice, not through ease. The undisciplined run from pain, but the disciplined embrace it, knowing it builds eternal power. Pain fades with time, but the freedom it creates through discipline lasts forever in your spirit. Every scar of pain is a badge of honor, proof that you paid the price to live strong and free. Pain is not the enemy of freedom. Excuses are, for they enslave while pain teaches liberation. The truth about pain is simple. It comes to test you, but it leaves you stronger than before. Freedom demands suffering, for only in the fire of pain can weakness be destroyed completely. Excuses promise safety from pain, but in reality, they chain you tighter to a life of regret. The man who accepts pain masters himself, and the man who masters himself lives truly free. Remember, pain is temporary, but freedom born of discipline will echo through eternity. Discipline may feel heavy today, but its weight is nothing compared to the chains of regret tomorrow. Freedom is not the absence of rules. It is the mastery of yourself when excuses try to control you. Excuses enslave you quietly, but discipline sets you free loudly, echoing through every choice you make. The undisciplined man believes he is free, yet he is chained to impulses that rule over his life. True freedom is choosing the hard path with discipline instead of obeying weakness disguised as ease. Every act of discipline is a step out of slavery, cutting invisible chains that excuses tie around you. Discipline commands respect because it creates a man who is not a prisoner of his own desires. Without discipline, you are a slave to fear, but with it, you become the master of your destiny. Freedom without discipline collapses into chaos, but discipline transforms chaos into strength. The world bows to disciplined men, for they live free of excuses and lead lives others only dream of. Discipline is not a restriction. It is the fire that turns hesitation into unshakable freedom. Remember, discipline is not the opposite of freedom. Discipline itself is the only true freedom. The warrior's path is not walked by chance. It is carved daily through discipline, sacrifice, and pain. Excuses cannot survive where warriors walk, for their discipline burns weakness into ashes of regret. The warrior does not wait for freedom. He creates it through scars, effort, and silent victories. His armor is built from self-mastery, and his weapon is discipline sharpened against endless trials. The path of the warrior is lonely, but freedom walks beside him, born from the fire of discipline. Excuses flee before warriors, for their presence alone reveals the strength of mastered freedom. Every dawn, the warrior rises to fight again, for discipline makes him both unbreakable and free. Freedom is not given to him as a gift. It is taken with blood, sweat, and relentless sacrifice. The warrior's scars are not marks of defeat, but proof that excuses failed to enslave his will. His discipline does not make him a prisoner. It crowns him with freedom the weak will never know. Respect is not demanded by warriors. It is granted because discipline makes them impossible to ignore. Remember, the warrior's path is brutal, but only those who walk it taste the freedom discipline gives. Discipline is not chains around your wrists. It is the crown that breaks every chain and sets you free. Excuses may comfort you for a moment, but they will enslave you for a lifetime you cannot reclaim. Freedom is not given by chance. It is earned daily through scars, silence, and relentless effort. The undisciplined live in cages built from excuses, while the disciplined walk freely into destiny. Every act of discipline is a seed, and the harvest is freedom that the world cannot take away. pain fades, but the strength it forges through discipline builds unshakable freedom forever. The man who avoids discipline believes he is free, yet he is chained to impulses that rule him. The disciplined man suffers today, but reigns tomorrow, because freedom bows to his mastery. Excuses destroy freedom silently, but discipline resurrects it loudly, with fire that never dies. Share in the comments where you need discipline most, and inspire warriors to break their chains. Subscribe now and join a brotherhood where discipline builds freedom and respect eternal. Remember, discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the only path to freedom that lasts forever.